will take her. He's had a bad dream. It's okay, my girl, I am here. Her heart slows to a steady pace. The nightmare fades away. There are no monsters here. My heart slows to a steady pace. And the third, final poem. You asked for their stories and they spoke them. You heard, but you did not listen. They told you where to find the children. You heard, but you did not look. And a recent reading I had said that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission estimates the number of unmarked graves to be 3,200. So they're still looking. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tanis. I now call upon Harvey Kaita, who is the president of the Manitoba Buddhist Temple Board, to say a few words of welcome.
Morning, everyone. It's been 18 months, a long time. And for those of you who are joining us virtually, welcome. There's a couple of familiar faces. I see Susan McLean and Wes Miai are joining us virtually, as well as Kaz and Ted Nakano. So glad to have some of our Sangha members on the call, as well as many members from the Steveston Buddhist Temple. So good morning, everyone. Heather mentioned that Robert and I are the technical experts. Well, I wouldn't say we're experts. We did a dry run yesterday, and we found out that this is the first time we are doing a broadcast from Steveston, British Columbia, and Winnipeg, Manitoba. And what we learned during the dry run is that when we're speaking, we have to turn the PA system off in the temple. Otherwise, we get feedback. And conversely, when Sensei Grant is talking, we have to turn the PA system on so everybody can hear him. And we only learned that after rehearsing for about an hour yesterday. So thank you. If there are problems hearing us either here or on the call, I apologize. Please bear with us. So again, as I said, whether you're joining us at the temple or virtually by Zoom, I want to welcome you to our Obon service this morning. This is our first service since the beginning of March 2020, and it has been an exhausting year. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected our lives in many ways. Today marks the return to some normality as we plan to resume our services at the temple in September. Obon is a Japanese cultural tradition celebrating our ancestors. The true significance of Obon lies in the rededication of ourselves to the Buddhist way of the life by reflecting upon love, affection, compassion, and virtues that our parents and others who have passed on before us have given while they were still alive. We are joined by the family of 4 members, and this is their first Obon service following their passing. Regrettably, their passing could not be acknowledged in the traditional way due to the tight COVID restrictions regarding funeral services. However, today, we are able to celebrate them and others who have entered the Pure Land. We are fortunate to be joined by Reverend Grant Ikuta from his temple in Steveston, BC, along with all of their Sangha members. He will be co-officiating the Obon service with our own Sensei Tanis Moore, and I would like to thank them for making today's service possible. So now I would like to turn it over to Heather to continue chairing today's service. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harvey. I now will ask Sensei Tanis to lead us in Mokuso, or silent meditation, then Shomyo Nembutsu.
We have to switch the camera over to Tanis, Sensei.
So, will everyone
just please sit in a comfortable position. And if you want to close your eyes or just leave them partly ajar, take a deep breath and just allow your body to relax. And just silently follow your breath through your body. Feeling from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes, relaxation and
Feeling embraced in the Nambutsu, please join me in Shamyo. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namo Amida Boots. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Aspiration. Please put your palms together in Gasho. And to those in the temple, please stand and in Gasho. O thou, Buddha, the supremely awakened one, the most honored one, here we gather to thy presence with deepest reverence and adoration in our heart. We place our full trust in thee, in thy teaching and in thy order, and we earnestly resolve to be a Buddhist and follow the holy path thou hast shown us, so that we may, like thyself, attain the happiest and most peaceful realm of Nirvana. Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Boots.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida Boots. Namo
Namo
Amida.
Amida.
Namanda.
Please be seated. We'll now have Bandana and P. Sarana found on page 31 in the statement.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sambuddhassa. Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, the Blessed One, the Noble One, the perfectly awakened One. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Samgam saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namu Kie Butsu. Namu Kie Ho. Namu Kie So. Followed by on page 33 invitation. And those on Zoom, please relax and enjoy the minister's chant. Midway through Sunday, I will call upon specific family members for a short prayer, and then I'll call upon the balance of the
Tanis, are we ready to go? I couldn't hear Heather.
Um,
Yes? Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Sorry about that.
Namanda,
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 namanda, namanda.
Namanda. 2021 Obon, Hatsubon means first observance of Obon service, and some temples are observing Shotsuki Memorial Service. We have gathered here to express our gratitude to all things and beings which make our lives possible. In our recognition of the interdependency and impermanence of all life, we are made to see the preciousness and righteousness of everyone. In this moment of Obon service, we express our love, respect, and gratitude. We are endeavor to listen to their voiceless voice, urging us to entrust ourselves in the final vow. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance.
No,
に
No more dogs, 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 no more dogs. Tannis, can I ask you to ask Heather to unmute Roberts? I accidentally muted him.
Can you unmute Roberts? He got accidentally unmuted, according to Sensei Grant.
I accidentally muted him.
He got muted, yeah.
We can't hear him.
Reverend Grant, the secretary is just coming up, so hopefully it'll be a bit before we get to it.
Sorry, I couldn't make that out.
He didn't hear that. Sensei Grant didn't hear what Rob Harvey said.
Just know that,
Okay. Yeah. We're still doing Oshoko, Sensei Grant?
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay. So it'll be a little while.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. Sensei Grant, so I should.
you know her?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we're done Oshoko session, and we're gonna pull down the screen and just move over. So just give us a minute or two.
All right, Cynthia, we're ready to go. Maybe we can do a sound check.
Okay, so let's see now. Let me just pull this up like this. Can you all hear me, or is there an echo? Is everything okay over there? Because I'm getting a real echo over here.
You gotta turn your, gotta mute that. You gotta mute that. And he can do that.
Can you hear me okay? No, I don't think you can hear me.
Yes, on Zoom you can.
Yeah, I know you can on Zoom. It's the Manitoba temple that I'm worried about. So, Harvey, can you hear me okay? Let's see. Let's see now. Where's the other? Sorry, everybody, for the delay. Oh, Harvey's just trying to make it so that they can hear us in at the temple as well.
We can hear you, Sensei.
Okay, good, good. Okay. So let me just pull myself up then. Oh, no, I'll remove Harvey. Or maybe I'll make you smaller. Let me, let's see, how can I do this? Okay, so everybody there can hear me okay, right? If you can, wave your hands. Okay, good. Thank you very much. And everybody on Zoom can hear me okay? Yes, good, okay. Then I shall increase, I'll remove this spotlight for now. And I will also do, oops, sorry, I'm just moving the people on the Zoom screen over and doing, there's a little bit of technical involvement when you're doing, using this kind of format. So, they disappeared now. Let me move them down here. Maybe that's better. Okay. Good. First of all, I'd like to thank the Manitoba Buddhist Temple for the invitation of having me join you on this Obon service, historical Obon service, since it is the first Obon after the pandemic. I know for many of you, it has been a very difficult year. It's been a difficult year for all of us. So it's really nice to be able to see people attending the temple and joining in the service live there. It's also very nice to have all the people, as usual, attending the service by the Zoom platform. So thank you to all for joining us today. I just wanted to talk a little bit, first of all, about the chanting that you participated in. So back in June, we were still uncertain as to what kind of restrictions there would be come July. And so at that time, last year, we held a joint JSBTC, Jodo Shinshu Buddhist Temples of Canada, Obon service, in which we had everybody joining in via Zoom. But this year, because we thought some of the temples may be able to reopen, it was decided not to have a national Zoom Obon service, but instead, the ministers from across Canada, we pre-recorded the chanting so that we could have the chanting of the ministers be used at each temple for their Obon services. Now, it might sound easy to do, but in fact, it takes a little bit of effort because the way the computer or the technology works is that you can only have one audio going at any one time. So I'm sure if you've joined in other Zoom meetings before, you'll notice that when two people try to talk, you'll get only one person, you'll only be able to hear one person at a time. The other person gets cut off and things like that. So what you have to do to coordinate 5 people chanting together, you have to have one person, first of all, record themselves. So in this case, it was Aoki Socho. So Aoki Socho recorded himself. Then he sent that recording to each of the ministers. And each of the ministers, we had to listen to that recording and chant along to Aoki Sensei's recording and record ourselves as we chanted along to Aoki Sensei's chanting. Now, the difficulty with this is that each minister, I think we have our own cadence or we have our own speed at which we feel comfortable chanting. So to have to listen and to chant, to match up your speed with somebody else, it's a lot easier to do while you're sitting across the way from somebody, but it's much harder to do listening just on a headphone and trying to adjust to that. So you may have noticed on the video, in fact, there were 5 of us all together. Oh, people on the Zoom are saying that my volume is not high enough. Can you hear me okay on Zoom, or is it still difficult to hear? Yeah, okay. So there were only 5 of us on that chanting, when in fact there were 6 ministers across Canada. The one minister who was missing was Izumi Sensei, but this was not by any fault of Izumi Sensei. In fact, I spoke with my brother in Lethbridge, and Izumi Sensei and my brother tried for over an hour to have Izumi Sensei listen to Aoki Socho's chanting and chant along. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't just get that synchronized with that chanting. So in the end, they gave up. So that's why there was 5 ministers in the chanting on the video. Now, once we have all the ministers record themselves, then those videos are sent to one location, in this case, to myself. And my daughter then has a software where she's able to put the 5 videos together. So a lot of the work went to my daughter, who had to make sure that, you know, if one person was slightly off, she would have to slow or speed them up to synchronize all the voices. So that's how the process, there's a process to doing that, to putting it all together. So although the end product looks simple, it looks like 5 ministers chanting together, it's actually quite an involved process. So I just wanted to let you know that. The other thing about the modern technology is that thanks to modern technology, here I am being able to attend the Obon service in Manitoba without actually being there. You know, the one silver lining, if you will, to this pandemic has been the fact that we've been able to develop this technology, particularly myself. I've been using this Zoom platform, and I found it very useful. Useful because it allows me both to see the people as well as to contact you. And it's given us the ability to actually expand on our Dharma gatherings so that people from around the world could join in. This has been good, but it can also create some awkward or interesting challenges. So over the course of this weekend, I've been involved in 3 services. On Friday night, I was actually invited to a memorial service for a very distinguished professor who passed away in Japan. And so they had a memorial service for this professor, and there were participants from throughout the world. But because it was done in Japan time, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Japan, which was 11 p.m. here on the West Coast. And then yesterday, I was asked to conduct a funeral service for somebody in Toronto. And now today, here we are with the Manitoba Buddhist temple. So without this kind of technology, there's no way physically I could have been in Japan, Toronto, and Manitoba within the span of just over 24 hours. So it's quite amazing what this technology has done. But today, getting to my Dharma talk now, today is the Obon service, a time in which we remember our loved ones who have passed on to the Pure Land, a time which we take particular homage to those individuals who have passed on during this past year, and perhaps over a year, because last Obon, you may not have been able to gather together. So we're including those who went previous to the last year as well. This Obon time, Obon service originates, as many of you are well aware of, it originates from the what we call the Ulambana Sutra, or the Urabon Sutra in Japanese. And this sutra tells of the story of one of Shakyamuni's 10 greatest disciples. His name was Moggallana. Now, over the course of the last half a year, I guess, I have been leading some study sessions here in Houston. And over the last several months, we've been using a book called The Buddha Dharma, A Path to Enlightenment. And this book was published by the Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai, or the Buddha Dharma Foundation. And it is a very concise synopsis of the teachings of the Buddha. But in giving these talks over the past several months, one of the interesting points that I've noticed is the way in which the Buddha taught his teachings. So in many of his teachings, the Buddha does not come out and give direct answers to the individual's queries, but instead he gets the individuals to contemplate and think and find a resolution for themselves. And there are many examples of this. Some of the more famous ones that you have probably heard of. One is the story of Kisogatami. And Kisogatami was a mother who lost her young child, and she carries around being unable to accept the passing of her child. She carries around the body of her dead child, asking for people to help her. But in doing so, somebody tells her that, the Buddha and his disciples are in the nearby grove. So she goes to have an audience with the Buddha. And instead of telling her that, your son is dead and there's nothing we can do, the Buddha tells her, I think I can help you, but you have to go to the village to get, he says, mustard seeds from 6 households. But whichever household and at first she thinks this is an easy task. But before the Buddha says for her to go, he tells her one last thing. He says, whichever household you receive the mustard seed from, death must not have entered that house. So still thinking she has hope, Kisogatami goes to the village and she goes around asking each household for assistance. And when the people of the house hear of her plight, everyone wants to help her out. And they're more than willing to share mustard seed with her, except when she asks, has death ever entered the household? Obviously, in every single household she visits, somebody had passed away, whether it was a parent, a sibling, an uncle, an aunt, or even a child. So doing this over and over again, Kisogatami finally realizes what the Buddha was trying to tell her, was that none of us are immune to the passing of loved ones. And so she returns to the Buddha, and she is now in the right frame of mind to listen to the Dharma. So again, in this situation, the Buddha didn't come out and tell her, your son has passed away. He told her, yes, I can help you. And then he made her come to that realization, okay? And there are many, many other stories very similar in this fashion. And when we think about Obon and the story of Moggallana, in fact, the Buddha does the same thing. So when we think about this story, how this story goes, so with Moggallana was one of the Buddha's 10 great disciples. And at the same time, he was also known for his supernatural powers, or his powers of meditation. And so one day during his meditations, he contemplates on where his predeceased mother is at the moment. And thinking about his mother, he starts looking, and in the Buddhist teachings, they talk about different realms of existence. So he starts off by looking at what we call the upper realms, the heavenly realm, the human realm, the realm of fighting spirits. So he looks at all these better realms, if you will. And he's unable to see his mother anywhere. And so at a chance, he starts looking all over for his mother, and he finds her suffering in what we call the realm of hungry ghosts. Now, the realm of hungry ghosts is a realm in which typically it's depicted with individuals with very large pot bellies, not from overeating, but from malnutrition. And they have very, very narrow necks, and they have pinhole-sized mouths. And he finds her suffering in there. And the people or the beings in this realm they may have lots of food in front of them, but every time they go to, sorry about that. Something funny here. So every time they go to reach out and grab the food, it turns into flames. So they're always constantly hungry. So Moggallana sees his mother suffering, and so he tries to help her. And he starts by trying to send some food down to her. But every time she reaches out for the food, it turns into flames. And he does this over and over, but unsuccessful. So he then approaches, he has an audience with the Buddha, and he asks the Buddha, how can I save my mother? Now, the Buddha doesn't tell him exactly what he needs to do to save his mother, but what the Buddha tells him is that he will need the assistance of the other Sangha members, that this will take the energy of all the Sangha members. So he tells Moggallana, perhaps what you can do is make an offering to the Sangha members at the end of their rainy season retreat. And Moggallana does so, and to his surprise, or he realizes that in this act of giving, he sees his mother liberated from her suffering. Okay? So again, here was a case where the Buddha didn't tell Moggallana exactly how to save his mother, but showed him an action that he can do. And in doing that action, Moggallana became aware of what it was that could save his mother from her suffering. See, before, he was trying to send the food directly to his mother, and that was sort of almost a self-serving approach, and just saving his mother only, thinking only of his mother. But when he gave the offerings to all the Sangha members, it was what we call selfless giving. It was true dana in that he was trying to help others. And in doing so, he was able to help his mother. Okay? So during this Obon period, we have the Bon Odori, and Obon Odori is said to have started with a dance of joy when Moggallana realizes that his mother has been relieved from her suffering. So this is how the Obon is traditionally explained. However, in Jodo Shinshu, we look at it a little differently. We call this Obon Kangie in Jodo Shinshu. Kangie means celebration or gathering of celebration, joy, okay, rejoicing. And what this rejoicing is talking about. So when we think about it, we might wonder, what should we be rejoicing about? Seeing your own mother suffering in a realm such as the realm of hungry ghosts. You know, most of us think very highly of our mothers, and we want them to be in the best place possible. But for Moggallana to see his mother suffering in such a realm, it was said that the reason why his mother was suffering in that realm was when she was still alive, in order to feed, out of her love, blind love for Moggallana, in order to feed him, depending on the version you read, it was said that she actually stole some food to feed her son. So this was mistreating others, or treating Moggallana with loving care at the expense of others. Okay, and we do this all the time. We think of our own immediate surrounding, those that we care about around us, and we forget or we neglect the others elsewhere. So you might wonder, why then would you be rejoicing at seeing somebody suffering in such a place? Well, in Jodo Shinshu, Shinran Shonin has called certain individuals, he calls them incarnated ones. Incarnated ones. What this means are they are there to help us, to lead us to find the truth. So without his mother, seeing his mother in that realm of hungry ghosts, Moggallana would have never gone to that extent of what we call selfless giving, the dana, to help the other Sangha members. And he would have not realized that true happiness comes from giving to others. Okay, so we look at the difficulties or the hardships that our ancestors may have done, even to the point of disregarding others for the sake of myself. And then we realize the gratitude, the indebtedness we owe them. So at the time of Obon, traditionally in Japan, it is a time in which we welcome back our ancestors to our homes. We invite them in, and we rejoice at all that they have sacrificed or done so that I can have the life I have here now. So it is a time in which we say thank you to our loved ones. And particularly in Jodo Shinshu, it is a time in which we thank our loved ones for bringing us in contact with the teachings of Amida Buddha, the Nembutsu, right? So when you think about what we do with the Nembutsu teaching, when we put our hands together, this is a gesture of oneness. The left hand representing a world of change, world of suffering, the right hand representing the world of the infinite, the Buddha, where all our loved ones have gone. And we put our hands together in true gratitude to say, thank you for allowing me to reflect on who I am. Thank you for making me more aware of the oneness of life. And thank you for allowing all of us to be together again here today. So at this time, I'd like to ask you to please join me in Gasho as we express our gratitude to our loved ones and also to the teachings that show us the way of oneness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you very much. And I shall remove my spotlight and, oops. Where did Harvey go? There you are. So I've turned it over to the Manitoba temple now.
Thank you, Sensei. So before we sing our Gatha Saya today, I'd like to share its English translation found on the back of the service program. Splendor of an evening sky, who can ever fathom its timeless beauty? Million eyes when sparkling bright in the sable sky, fill my heart, my lonely heart, with serenity. More than all the sands of the Ganges River holds are the infinite Buddhas who fill this universe, ever watching over us throughout the day and night. Hearing this, my lonely heart fills with lasting peace. For the folks in the temple, please stand and turn to page 152, Gatha Saya. To the folks at home, enjoy.
On 313.
Thank you. Benediction. Please put your palms together in Gasho. And to those in the temple, please remain standing in Gasho while I read the service with the quote. Our life is filled with warmth in sharing life with others. It is a simple truth to learn, but a difficult practice to fully realize. In personal life, it means to act by placing ourselves in the position of another. And in community life, it means to give service with joy and gratitude for the betterment of all. The practice of making others happy is based upon the clear understanding of life, which is oneness. In deep gratitude, let us realize the oneness of all life, the heart of which is compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Just a reminder that the province of BC has provided a $2 million fund as part of their commitment to honor seniors who lived through the traumatic uprooting and displacement of almost 22,000 Japanese Canadians during the Second World War. The purpose of the fund is to provide grants to enhance activities, programs, and services that will directly benefit the health or wellness of those living survivors. We acknowledge the hardships you endured and want to share, to show our respect with activities, reconnecting events. So we're asking for your ideas and suggestions. And as the email that was sent out to you said, please, don't have any angel. So we'd ask that those folks, whether they're your parents or your aunts or your uncles or someone special, please let us know sort of what they would like to do. At the back of the temple, at the Hondo, there is a pamphlet, so please take that, and we look forward to your ideas. That's it for now, So enjoy the summer break. Keep us safe. Please keep healthy and safe. Thank you to Sensei Grant for being with us today and for Sensei Tanis as well. So hopefully our next service will be in September, and it'll be the September Memorial and Okigun service. So thank you for joining us today. Have a great summer, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. How did that go, Heather? Was it okay? Can you hear me?
Okay, Senator Grant saying something. I can't hear him. Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to know how it went. Was everything okay?
It was perfect.
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Can you turn that camera on so we can see the audience or the congregation? Thank you, everyone.
He says, thank you, everybody.
Nice to see you all.
Well, we did it for Saya. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Robert did it for Saya. And you can have it back.